Hello guys, NautoAis here, and I want to give my thoughts on a PlayStation shakeup, and this happened on January 28th, 2025 in the evening. Surprisingly, I was just scrolling on social media and credit to Genki for the information. That's what I found it. And that if you don't know what's happening, well, in the past, after Jim Ryan stepped down, he retired. Yes, the bad man, the very, very bad man. They assigned a co-CEO at a time, starting in, I think, April of 2024, which is Herman Hulst, the guy that used to run Guerrilla Games, the developer of Killzone and Horizon Zero Dawn. I mean, that game's actually good, in my opinion. So he basically became president of PlayStation in the West. And now he's going to be, well, at a time in April 2024, he was going to be a co-CEO with another guy by the name of Hideaki Nishino. And the guy was known for being a hardware expert. So it was going to be two different CEO, one from Japan, one from the US. How does it work? Who knows? Well, to some extent, we don't have to know that much anymore because after what happened with Concord, and apparently, again, Colin Moriarty said that that was Herman Hulst's baby. It was something that he kind of championed, that it was going to be the future of PlayStation, failed. And I said that I wouldn't be surprised, beside the Concord attack, that they're going to do something with Herman Hulst. They're going to probably punish him or something. Well, starting in April 1st, 2025, well, Hideaki Nishino will be the sole CEO and president of Sony Interactive Entertainment. So yes, finally, once again, a president, a chairman is Japanese. Yeah, I might sound a bit political here, but if you've been following what happened with Jim Ryan when he was CEO and president, chairman, starting in 2019, I hate to say it, he made PlayStation play US station. He Americanized it because at the time the belief was that the biggest market for PlayStation was in the US, and that mostly in Japan they wanted mobile games, so the Switch capitalized that one, and you know the story there. But then there was a lot of stupidity with Jim Ryan. Oh, retro games are dumb. Backwards compatibility is dumb. And he basically was very obsessed with game as a service because he saw that Fortnite money and he greenlighted a lot of those type of game. And Herman Hulst, I'm guessing a lot of people have said that he probably was trained under Jim Ryan to some extent, and he was trying to continue his legacy with all this game as a service, including Concord. And of course, we've been following the story. Besides Concord just lasting 2 weeks, a lot of game as a service game being canceled. And the sad part is a lot of the game being developed were well known. Ben Studios was doing a game as a service. Bluepoint, the people who did the remaster for Demon's Soul, was doing a God of War game as a service, which I don't know how that's going to work, but whatever. And a lot of these games as a service were just getting canceled left and right. There was even a Spider-Man, Last of Us, and it was just every game as a service are being canceled. So like I said, starting in April 1st, 2025, Hideaki Nishino will be the sole president. And for me personally, I'm happy. Why? Because hopefully this means, one is you have a Japanese CEO, which should have been from the get-go. I mean, sure, Yoshida at one point was CEO and president, but then he got demoted. I don't know what the story behind that, but it is what it is. That's already in the past. So maybe with this guy, and again, a lot of people have said that this guy is a hardware expert. And again, credit to Genki. Genki basically said that Nishino is a hardware expert and a type of guy who is no sense philosophy, which means if you see something that's really too stupid that people are going to like it, it's going to be innovating or whatever, or gimmicky, you know, kind of like Iwata to some extent, he might say, yeah, that doesn't make sense. We're not going to do that. He's just going to probably do powerful system, the end, that's it. Kind of like with Furukawa with the Switch 2. The guy was more business, so why change it if the previous one kind of works? In the case with Iwata, there was a lot of gimmick, the Wii U, the 3DS, but again, different people, different perspective. It is what it is there. So again, maybe Japan. Second, maybe the headquarters can go back once again in Japan. Maybe now they can once again try to prioritize that PlayStation is a Japanese company. The reason I like PlayStation, because I like their third-party Japanese game that includes anime waifu. I love them from the PlayStation, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3. Yeah, granted the cell processor, but they managed to turn it around. PS4. For me, personally, I know a lot of people like PlayStation because of their Japanese game. They were known for to be an anime console. And then Jim Ryan, to some extent, when he became CEO and president, chairman, he was trying to push, PlayStation is American. We are variety. We focus more on the U.S. people, the Americans, than in Japan, to a point that a lot of the Japanese fans who loves PlayStation are getting frustrated, and that's why they're flocking to the Nintendo Switch. I mean, it is what it is. We follow the story. That's what's happening there. So maybe with Nishino, he can return to form what PlayStation is all about, being Japanese. Again, more Japanese game from Sony. Well, that would be nice, but in a different video, I'm going to talk about, again, credit to Genki. There was an interview with Shuei Yoshida at Kinda Games with Greg Miller. I know that guy. But a lot of the stuff he was saying was very interesting, from the Vita, the VR, the game as a service, and why a lot of Japanese first-party studios are shutting down. The gist of it is not appealing. It wasn't selling like first-party game from Nintendo. Kind of makes sense, but it still kind of made me sad. But a different story there, so I might give my thoughts about that in a different video. Again, another big one for me, and you've been following me since 2018, especially what they did with Tunia and Idea Factory, and a lot of the Japanese game is the censorship. So if you don't know that one, starting in 2018, but there was a rumor, even it started in 2016, that PlayStation was very strict. They were trying to push censorship, that we don't want this type of game to be in our console. We're kind of show you that this is not what PlayStation, kind of like a 180 in their image. And now it's Nintendo this time around, but that's a different story there. But I kind of talk about that in a different video. Anyway, censorship. Maybe now they're going to say, okay, this censorship bullcrap, the thing that we have to tone it down on PlayStation version, it's not working. Because it wasn't working, to a point that a lot of developers are complaining. They're having a hard time making their game because it's costing them more. People are not buying PlayStation version of the game, even so it has trophies, because they don't want censorship in their game. They don't want politics, to a point that there are some games that has been canceled. Ayukana, there was supposed to be PlayStation 4 version, got canceled because, well, they got to censor it. People were complaining. It said, well, got to take that L, all that resource, and just say, well, we're just not going to release it. They might not be able to release it in the long run now. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, PlayStation is known for their generation to last longer than other company. Different story there, but that's what they're good for. That's what they're expert on. So maybe finally remove that censorship. Because if you notice on the PlayStation Store, so I did a short video about how if you type in the keyword hentai on a PlayStation Store, you're going to be starting to see more hentai games. So originally in the past, you see that a lot in the eShop. I mean, granted, there's shovelware AI art. I mean, it is what it is. Like, to a point, even Nintendo, they had game that has full frontal boobies. Not anymore. They had to back off, and that's going to be a gray area. I don't think even Sony going to go that far. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, if you want to play those type of games, you want to see anime boobies, PC, just saying there, PC. But anyway, beside the point, now there's sort of some hentai games on the PlayStation Store. I know, even this is not really a hentai game, but people did like this game. And from what I heard, they said it was developed in Russia, but I could be wrong. M-Side, which is a first-person horror game with a psychotic anime girl. Apparently, that's also going to be in PlayStation console. But again, I don't know. It's just to be announced. But the bottom line is, when you put in the keyword hentai on the PSN store, you're probably going to start seeing multiple titles that has the word hentai. Because normally, if you notice in the past, they have some hentai games, but they had to change the word hentai to anime and probably tone it down. I mean, it's just really a trophy genre to some extent, to shovelware. I mean, games are game. Come on, just because it's shit, it doesn't mean you can't allow it on the PSN store eShop. Just don't buy it. But yes, I know the opposite to that is people are buying it, and that was the problem because they want to build their trophies, because I like trophies. But again, beside the point there. So there you go. So hopefully with Nishino everything is going to be back to Japanese return to form. You might say it's what's happening now with Herman Hulst. So apparently, he got demoted to his previous position. That's it. So once again, he's going to be just CEO of business group, but also first party games, but maybe to some extent. However, moving forward, he has to always answer to Hideaki Nishino. So no matter what, Nishino is his boss. So did he get punished? Maybe a bit, because remember, he's the guy that kind of screwed Sony with Concord. And I even said before that I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to do some sort of punishment on him. And it kind of looks like this is sort of a start. We don't know. Will he get a window seat? Well, it's in the U.S. They don't do window seat. But they might probably give him push Kantoshov an ultimatum. They might say, kind of like Corinne Bush, the director for Dragon Age Veilguard. They gave this person an ultimatum. Either we fire you or you quit on your own term. That's a rumor, but, make your own conclusion. I wouldn't surprise if in push Kantoshov they may do that to Herman Hulst and say, hey, here's some ultimatum for you. We can fire you for not doing a good job at PlayStation. You can quit on your own. Or push Kantoshov, he's just going to be CEO of Guerrilla Games. I mean, I don't know, but that's just them, none of my business. But the bottom line is that Herman Hulst, push Kantoshov, he might get punished for it, for what he did. You can't, this type of things, you can't let him go with it. So, there you go. Oh boy. So, a lot of changes is already starting. I don't know if it's related to Nishino, because credit to Wario 64, there are already some new changes starting in January 2026. So, it'll be a while. One is, any PlayStation PC game, you are not required to put in a PSN account. So you might say, hey, it's free. It's not really a big deal. Well, different people, different perspective. PC gamer don't want to do anything with PlayStation. And to some extent, if you know PlayStation, when you create an account, they're not really safe. Remember, they got hacked multiple times and kind of sucks. So a lot of people really don't like that. But we'll just have to wait and see. Another one is now, of course, and this one probably has nothing to do with Herman Hulst or anything. Starting also in 2026 is that if you're a PS Plus member for free games, you're only going to get PS5 games, unless that PS5 game has a PS4 version. But anything that's PS4 or below, they're not giving out anymore. They're done with it. And you might say, is that a Concord-related situation? Nah, they kind of did it also with the PlayStation 4 for a while. Like, eventually, they were like, well, we're going to stop offering PS3 or below games, probably just to cut costs. That's really it. I mean, it could be related to the Concord situation, doing Concord tax, but in my opinion, probably just, they're just moving forward. They want to focus on people to be buying PS5. I mean, it kind of makes sense, because kind of what happened with the PlayStation 3 to some extent, they got rid of the backwards compatibility, because again, for people who don't know, in the initial PS3 release, it's technically you have two consoles in one box, and that costs a lot of money. And at the time, Trent, the president of Sony of America, did say that the reason they kind of did it also that they knew people don't like the idea of removing backwards compatibility, but he also admitted said that because we want our consumer to be focused on buying PS3 games on a PlayStation 3 console, kind of makes sense in the perspective of business. It's probably the same thing with this one here. So anyway, there you go. So what's the future of PlayStation now, starting April 1st, 2025? Who knows? Was this sort of related to the Switch 2 reveal? Probably. Just have to wait and see. So, yes, hopefully with Hideaki Nishino being the sole CEO, president, chairman of PlayStation Interactive Entertainment, let's see if they're going to return to form, make PlayStation Japanese again, make PlayStation great again. You know what I mean. So, anyway, with that, I'll see you guys later.